Hey there, and welcome to my channel. I'm Crafty Kathy, the owner and creator of Kit's Vintage Farmhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I am so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. The other day, I was strolling through the Dollar Tree, as I so often do, and I came across these cork bulletin boards that they had. They are a $1.25 item, and I got a bunch of them. They come in different colors and shapes, and I made some gorgeous home decor with these. You're not going to believe your eyes, so let's jump on in. On our first DIY, we are going to be using 3 of the octagon shaped ones. These are 10 inches each, and guys, they had so many different colors and shapes of these. I had a ball doing this video. I'm going to cover all 3 of these with some drop cloth. I got this drop cloth at Amazon. I'll leave the link down below in case you need some. It's not expensive at all, and I've literally had this actual drop cloth for probably 3 years, and I do projects often with it. So what I did was I just kind of did a rough cut of the shape of the octagon, leaving about at least an inch, maybe even 2 inches, just so it would be enough to wrap it around and glue it down. Now, when I first started doing this, I saw the little hanger on the back here, and the hanger is made from leather, and I thought, wow, I won't even have to put anything on the back, but I've eventually ended up cutting that off, and you'll see why. So like I said, I kind of just cut out a rough shape of the octagon, and I made 2 slits, one on each side of where that rope is going to hang. That way I could just pull it down and put the glue right there without disturbing my little hanger. But like I said, I didn't even end up using that in the end. So I'm going to show you with one of these how I glued it down. And this was definitely like a learning curve. The first one that I did not pull it tight enough. And so I went back and pulled it a little bit tighter because you don't want it looking, you know, baggy or I don't know the word, like loose. You know what I mean. So here I am going around, and when I got to one of the corners, what I would do is just kind of wrap it like a Christmas present. There's really no rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I was just getting that drop cloth on there. So here's a perfect example of how when I got to the corners, I just folded it in just like I was wrapping a present, and I would put a little bead of glue to hold the corners in. Just use as much glue as you need to. Nobody's going to be peeking on the back side of this, and there's no need to worry. So the back side doesn't particularly have to be beautiful. You know what I mean? But after you do one, you will definitely learn what you did wrong, and it will be easier to correct on the next one. But don't worry, this was very easy to do. Now I'm going to show you what this very first one looked like, and then I'm going to show you what I learned so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. My first one looked okay, but I could have gotten it tighter. So here's the second one, and I'm still thinking that I'm going to be using that hanger, so I cut it down the middle, stuck it down the middle, and I'm just going to kind of go a little bit quicker because I'm doing the same process. The only thing I'm doing is like when I do that end that I just did on the bottom, I'm going to immediately go up to the top and tighten it and pull it as taut as I can, and then start on that side as opposed to going, you know, like I'm going around a clock, like clockwise. And I found it, if I did it in this way, it's easier to keep it straight and keep it taut, and I definitely got a much better look on my second one. But I did everything else the exact same way. I'm going around, wrapping it just like a present. I just want to take a moment and welcome every single one of y'all. I am so glad that you're here. We have a lot of new viewers and new subscribers in our community, and I am so thankful for that. I would love it if you would consider subscribing and becoming a part of our family here on YouTube. We always have room for more, and we just chat and craft and have a good old time. And if you would, leave me a comment. Let me know which one of these is your favorite one. Even if you're not much for leaving a comment, I would love it if you would just leave a heart emoji. I love to go through every single one of my comments, and I love to meet my new subscribers. The very best way to support your favorite YouTuber is to hit the like button and subscribe and leave a comment, and that tells YouTube that that creator is really liked, and they push us out there for more people to watch our videos, which in turn is a big help for us. So as you can see, this is what that first one looked like, the one that is not tight enough. And as opposed to that second one, it was driving me crazy. But it was very easy just to go back and kind of pull it up and make it tighter. I'm not going to make you guys watch me put the third one together. I just wanted to show you how you kind of learn as you go along with this craft. Just have faith in yourself and give yourself some slack. You know what you're doing, and it's going to be beautiful. It was right here whenever I pulled the hanger up, and I thought, my goodness, for what we're doing, it's going to look better not to have that hanger showing. I mean, it's a nice hanger and all, it's leather, but it's going to look better not to see that in what we're doing. So I just went through all three and cut them off. I'm going to use the IOD Collage de Fleurs to put on the front of these. Now, if you don't have transfers, you can use like rice paper. You could even use stickers. There's so many options of things that you could put on these. So don't feel defeated if you don't have these. But if you do want some of these IOD transfers, I get mine from Lori over at www.miltonsdaughter.com, and I leave her information down below so that she's really easy to find. You also can find the paint that I use there and the pen art products that I use. I get so many of my products from Miss Lori. So this book has like some really bright red flowers in it. It's got these beautiful white ones. And it also has kind of like a peachy pink kind of color. Well, more peachy, I guess. But anyway, I chose these white ones because there's three and they match perfectly in my opinion. I also cut some of these vines out from that book. I wasn't sure if I was going to use them or not, but I went ahead and cut them. Now, if you've never used a transfer before, they are super easy and they are a great asset to have as a crafter because you can make any project gorgeous. All you do is just peel off that little white backing, lay it down on the project that you want it to go on, and they send a little plastic tool that you like rub across the top of it. Now, I like to kind of hold the edge of my transfer up because I feel that it makes it stick a lot faster, and they call it riding the wave, where whenever it gets to stick, you can literally just almost pull up the whole transfer without even having to rub it in some spots. These are super easy to use, and guys, they make a project beautiful every time. My leaves went over the edge. Now you can cut that off, or you can do like I do and just let it ride over the edge and make it look like it's, going off the side. I like that look. But look how beautiful this is when you pull it up and how perfect. And then you're going to want to burnish your transfer, which just means to rub that plastic sheet on the top just to make sure it's got a really good stick. And we're going to do the exact same thing with the second one. You just figure out where you want your transfer to go, and you're going to use that stick. You're going to rub it all over and simply just pull that transfer up and burnish it again. Also, from one of my other IOD transfer books, I found this gorgeous butterfly, and I just thought he's got to go there. Now, I didn't want that little piece of the leaf on there because it really didn't match. So all you do is just cut around the butterfly, and then you do the exact same process. That's what I like about these transfers. You can just kind of cut out the pieces that you want to use, and vice versa. They go with each other even from different books, and they always look gorgeous. When I finally figured out where I wanted him to go, I got him placed there just like before, and then I made sure to go ahead and burnish him down also.
The way that I have these pieces laid out is how I want them to go together. I just put a little bit of glue down toward the bottom because we don't want it to seep up. I laid them down so that they would be totally flat and kind of pushed them together. Now just imagine, you can, even use 4 of these octagons. You can use in different shapes. I mean, there is so many things that you can do with these. And when I first got these, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I'll figure out something. And these are actually one of my favorite things that I've worked with in a long time to craft with. Now, I was afraid that glue alone wasn't going to be enough to hold it, so I'm just going to put a couple of Dollar Tree little popsicle sticks on the back just for a little added support. Like I said, I think the glue would be fine, but I just want to make sure. I sure wouldn't want one of these pieces to fall off the wall when one of my nosy southern relatives is over and they'll be like, "Good Lord, Kathy, what'd you do?" Now, my favorite part is to use these super easy hangers that I get off of Amazon. I link them down below. And see, they have like the little nail thing in them. And all it takes is like one little hit of the hammer and they're in. And guys, I forgot to mention that the backs of these are made of foam. So I could just push these in. And as crooked as I got that hanger, it still hangs perfect every time. That's why I love those. And I hope you like this first one. This next DIY is probably my personal favorite from this whole video. I'm going to just use 2 of the octagon ones again. I'm going to cut the little leather hangers off of the back of these because we don't need them. And what I'm going to do is glue them together like I'm showing you here, just with my hot glue gun. And then I took them outside and I spray painted the tops and the sides with my Rust-Oleum 2 times in the color called moss green. You don't have to get this sprayed perfectly, just enough to basically get the tops and the sides green, and it can be any color of green you have. I always prefer to use the matte type of this Rust-Oleum, but this one's satin, but it still worked out perfect, and this is gorgeous. So I'm just going to use this garland that I got at Dollar General a while back ago and some of these floral pins. I'll link these down below if you need some of these. They are great to have, especially when you're doing wreaths and that type thing in different types of foam. It makes it so much easier. You basically just lay it down where you want it to go and use these kind of like a giant stapler. It just goes right down. And remember, I told you these are foam. So this is not going to come out of here, and it was so easy to put together. I'm just going to go all the way around the top and put down my different little floral pins. I think I ended up maybe using about 6 total across the top here. And you don't have to worry about this first part looking particularly pretty. Just get it on there. I kind of tried to drape mine where it would more so cover the sides than the top, but the way I put the pins, it kind of did both, so it was a win-win situation. And you see wherever I wrapped my garland around, I had a little bit of extra, so that's going to be a thicker part. We'll use that for the very front of this, and this is what I've got so far. I'm going to use a whole bunch of flowers that I get from Temu. I'm really big at buying my flowers at Temu. The only thing I don't like is some of them have leaves that make them look cheap, but you can pull those off or cut them off. Now these did have them, but I left them on because it's going to make this arrangement look fuller, and I definitely like that. I want y'all to notice, because this is made of foam, The popping noise that it makes when you stick the flowers in there, it's addictive, I promise you. Now what I did was just cut off, you see how far I cut to where there's only about an inch to stick down in the top of this. That's all we needed. And like I said, this is foam, so these stuck down perfectly. Now if you're worried that any of these pieces might pop back up, all you do is put just a little bit of hot glue on the end of it before you pop it down into your foam, and I promise you it won't go anywhere. These are some little roses that also came from Temu. They had like a plasticky type covering on them, but when you slid it off, there's where the wire was. And like I said, I only needed about an inch or two to pop down into this foam. And the way that I put my florals on, guys, is whatever I put on one side, I try to put the exact same flower, if I have it, on the opposite side in the same place. And what I mean by that is, if you will notice the purple flowers that I put down there toward the front, you can go directly to the opposite side and see that I put more purple flowers in just about the exact same spot. Now, if I don't have any more, I just try to make it look good with what I've got. I just kind of used several different flowers with this one. They're all Temu flowers. The first one that I put down was cream and a color of purple, and then I did the purple roses, and then I'm adding some cream colored, I think those maybe are hydrangeas, I'm not really sure, and then this boofy purple one here. I decided to put it toward the front because it's larger and I only had one, so I thought, well, let's kind of make that a focal point because there's only one. Now these are also, these little stems that I'm putting on now, they don't really have flowers on them. They're just kind of like little stems and leaves, and I'm going to kind of put those toward the front because I like the way that they have the little piece that sticks out. I just kind of try to match it up the best that I can. You can't always match it up perfectly with what you got, so you just do the best you can. And I promise you it turns out looking good every time. And I see so many people in the comments say, well, I'm just starting out. I can't make floral things as pretty as you can. Or, yes, you can. Because listen, guys, I promise you, I only started crafting, I think, maybe 4 years ago, like in my whole life. I was never interested in it when I was younger, couldn't have cared less. But you guys know I'm a nurse, and I've had a couple back surgeries. And a few years ago, I had a spinal cord stimulator implanted in my spine. So it kind of slowed me down a little bit. And I'm not able to pick up like heavy patients anymore like I used to. I had to start working with children because they're smaller and easier to pick up. And that caused a lot of depression in me because I'm that kind of person that I care about my patients and I carry my work home. And when I see a sick baby, no matter how little or how big it was, but most of these were very sick, it really bothers me. You know, I worked with children on ventilators and children, you know, with trachs and things like that, and it'll break your heart. And so to find some kind of outlet, I started watching YouTube, and I was watching these people take stuff that's like a piece of cardboard and turning it into something gorgeous. They're like taking a Pinto and turning it into a Lamborghini. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like they're making their own home decor, like with what they want it to look like. And it almost became an addiction. I was just doing it all the time. And then I was getting better at it. And then I decided to start a channel to help other people. It was never to make money. It's to show other people you can do this. Like if I can do it, you can do it. Come on, we can do this thing together. And I just found along the way a whole community of people who back me up, and I back you guys up, and it's awesome, and we support each other, and I absolutely love it. But I also love nursing. It's just in my blood. My mom, my sister, we're all nurses. I just can't get away from it. So what I do is I still work PRN, which means I just work a couple of days a month and fill in. Now, what I'm going to do is just take these 2 hurricane vases from the Dollar Tree, and I've got some of those gems in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of it in the bottom. Now, these stems are not Temu because I remember these are from Walmart, and I noticed that little green sticker. It's a dead giveaway. Sorry about my shoulder being in the way, but I had to stick that right there. I liked the way that these kind of stuck up, and there's only a few of them, so I thought, well, this will bring a little bit of contrast. And let me tell you something else. When I'm doing my florals, if I'm doing, let's say, like the shade of purple, I like to do a couple of different shades of purple because it's like it pulls the eye in different directions all at once, and it just makes it look right. It really does. Now here, like I said, this is just kind of an array of kind of leftover flowers. We've got peaches, we've got beige, we got purple, you name it. But isn't it beautiful? Now, to my surprise, I looked down in the floor and found another thing of these little purple roses that I had dropped, and I was like, oh my goodness, that will be perfect right in the center right here, because that's kind of the most flowers that we have on here are those purple roses. So let's add them in the middle to make a pop. Guys, I was so addicted to the way whenever I would stick this down into the foam that it would make a popping noise. And these, I cut them a little bit longer, and that's why I put a little bit of hot glue on them, because we don't want them to go anywhere. I wasn't cutting these purple ones down enough, so I kept pulling them out and cutting them down a little bit more and just putting a little bit of glue to make sure they wouldn't go anywhere. That's pretty much all I did to this one, and I think it turned out gorgeous, and I hope that you enjoy it.
She thinks I'm a little lazy, I think she's a little crazy. We like summer and we like spring, watching wrestling in the ring. She ain't shy, she speaks her mind, tough as nails and smooth as wine. We burn hot as kerosene, baby, we got our own thing. She ain't skinny and I ain't tall, and that don't bother us at all. I run naked through the yard, she'd flash every police car, drinking wine and getting tired of shooting out.
Our last one is super quick and easy. I tried to make all these quick and easy because I didn't have a whole lot of time, but man, I had a million ideas on these. We're going to use these white colored ones, and they are the square ones. And then these are like little letter holders, they were called. And I got these from Dollar Tree, letter sorters, I'm sorry. These are Dollar Tree also. What I'm going to do is just take some from this same book that we used earlier, the Collage des Fleurs, and we're going to put one of each of these peach colored ones on the front. I just go through, pick out the ones I want, and cut them out. Remember, I told you guys these came in different shapes, and they also come in different colors. These were a white color. They had like bright colors. I'm just really excited about crafting with these. Now, we're going to put these transfers on just like we do the other ones, like we did the others, I'm sorry. You just pull that white backing off, lay them down where you want them. Then remember, we're going to use that little plastic tool that they send you, and we're just going to rub over the top of it. We're going to hold the edge of our little piece of plastic up, and that's going to help us to get the wave so that it will just come off that much quicker and easier. Then we're going to burnish it every time to make sure we've got a good stick. And look how beautiful this peachy flower is. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to take my second one. I'm going to lay it down and do the exact same thing and then burnish it. Now just keep in mind, you don't have to use these transfers that I'm using. You can use like a rice paper and decoupage something on there. You can use a napkin. I mean, there are so many options to what you can do. You can even do like a heat transfer. It's just all up to you and what your personal taste is. Then I'm going to grab this letter holder, and as you can see, it's got a taller side and a shorter side. We're going to be working on that taller side, and I'm pointing it out right here. See, that side is smaller and then the bigger one is on the right. What we're going to do is we're going to use one of these small zip ties. I call them zip ties. I think the correct name for them is a cable tie, but y'all know in the South we have names for everything. So I'm just going to kind of pull this together a little bit because it's got that little end piece that sticks out. We don't want it to stick out too far. And so I just keep standing my little piece up, my little square piece that I put the transfer on to make sure that it's going to look right. Now I'm going to do this exact same thing to both of these letter sorters. I'm just going to take my cable tie and I'm going to pull it to where it's tight enough to where that little wire that sticks out at the end is almost even with that other part there. It's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing, but I mean, you can see what I'm doing here. And Lord have mercy, when I was trying to cut that off there, I ended up cutting the whole cable tie and just like having to start over again and put another one. That's me. I'm a little clumsy sometimes, but it's okay. I always get there. Now what we're going to do is lay this down face first. We're going to use a really good glue. I'm using this one from Dollar Tree. It's their Fix-All adhesive. It's basically super glue. And we are going to put some of this down at the very bottom of our little letter sorter. Now, mind you, this is on the tallest part, you know, not that short end. And I put a little bit kind of halfway up, around the hoop and around, because we want to make sure this is going to have a really good hang or stick. Good gracious. Yeah, that's it, Kathy, a really good hang. And so we're just going to place this down at the very bottom. Get it good and stuck on there. Make sure that it's not going anywhere. Don't worry if a little bit of glue seeps out. It's really not that big of a deal. And then I'm going to grab one of my little clips and just clip it. I did take a little baby wipe and just kind of wipe off any glue that did come out, but honestly, it really don't matter. Nobody's ever going to see that part. And then, like I said, I grabbed one of these clamps, and these are from Dollar Tree also. I chose these because they don't have such a very strong hold, because I didn't want to make a mark in the front of this, because remember, it's made out of foam. If you squeeze it too tight with that little clip, I was afraid that it would make like an indentation, you know, down in the bottom. So we're going to do the exact same thing to the second one. We put our super glue on there, and on this one I put literally like a couple little dabs of hot glue, put it down at the bottom, and then put my little clip on there. Then I just set this off to the side for a couple of hours and let it dry. Now these are going to be bookends, guys. I have so many books laying around. I can put about 8 of my favorite books in here, and each one has its own slot. Now I like that. Like I was saying, you can hold about 7 to 8 of your favorite books in here, and I purposely left a couple of them in the middle just open so that you could see how each one has its own slot. If y'all stuck with me through this whole video, I just want to say thank you for stopping in and crafting and chatting and just having a good time with me today. Now don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you would. That's the like button. And also leave me a comment. Let me know which one of these is your favorite. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what in the world are you waiting for? Hit that little red subscribe button. You know I want you along on this journey with me. Right now, my videos are every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, because during the summer, we get a little bit later on our videos because everybody's outside because it's beautiful out. Now, when you subscribe to my channel, there is a little bell beside it. It's a notification bell, and you can choose the word all beside it, and YouTube will let you know every single time that I do upload a video. And guys, I will be seeing y'all back here real soon, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Did you know that if you're on a tablet or a phone, you can just click on my face right here and it will subscribe you to my channel? You sure can. You can also click on these videos that have similar content, and as soon as this one's over with in just a second, it'll take you right to the next one. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. God bless you and your families.